After the American Revolution, the McElroy family were some of the first settlers in the area. They appear as early as 1794 in the minutes of Burke County Court Book. John Wesley McElroy was born April 7, 1808 on the Caney River, then in Buncombe County. The house that McElroy had constructed on the town lots was undoubtedly one of the grandest in Yancey County. The house was a little over 3,000 square feet, with 21 windows and 7 fireplaces, one in each room. The bricks in the fireplaces and the timber skeletons such as the sill beams and other framing were constructed locally. John W. and Catherine's family continued to grow after they moved into their new house on a hill overlooking the town of Burnsville. They had 5 or more children between 1840 and 1850. According to the 1850 census, McElroy's real estate was valued at $6,300 and included 16 slaves, making him the third largest slave owner in the county. A national crisis was brewing in 1859 and in 1860, and Yancey County was soon caught up in the events. In 1859, rabid abolitionist John Brown led a slave revolt in Harper's Ferry, Virginia. Brown was captured and executed for treason, but due to the North's manifestations of respect and compassion toward Brown, the South became alarmed. Tensions continued to build into the 1860s. Abraham Lincoln, a Republican whose party had the backing of many abolitionists, was elected president. Not long after, the states in the Deep South, started with South Carolina, began enacting legislation that withdrew them from the Union. Tensions continued to rise. On April 12, 1861, Confederate forces in South Carolina opened fire on Fort Sumter in Charleston, causing its garrison to capitulate the next day. President Lincoln issued a call for 75,000 volunteers to go into South Carolina to crush the rebellion. Lincoln wanted 2,000 of those men to come from North Carolina, a request that its governor denied. The governor then issued another call for a convention to take North Carolina out of the Union, which passed on May 20, 1861. The men of Yancey County did not wait for the representative to take a vote. On May 1, 1861, the first company from Yancey County was formed and named the Black Mountain Boys, led by John S. McElroy. So many Yancey County men enlisted in the Confederate Army that in December 1862 the county court declared not another man could be spared for the service. Conditions in Yancey County went from bad to worse for General McElroy and the Confederacy. In late 1864 and early 1865, raids by locals and Unionists became common. By January 1865, conditions had so deteriorated that the Union Army was actively recruiting men in and around Burnsville. Most of these men joined the 3rd North Carolina Mounted Infantry, led by Colonel George W. Kirk. Kirk was one of the most reviled "home Yankees" in the area. He came from East Tennessee and recruited mostly dissenters from western North Carolina for his command. One of those dissenters was William Moore, a future owner of the McElroy house. In 1867, Isaac Pearson sold General McElroy's house to 2 brothers, Joshua and Edmund Williams. Yancey County was slow to shake off the devastation of the Civil War. Court records from 1866 to 1867 even show an unfinished jail. Prisoners were sentenced to be incarcerated were forwarded to Buncombe County to serve their time. The same time period found the county with 1 school, 9 churches, 3 hotels, 5 general stores, 1 lawyer, 1 blacksmith, 2 tailors, 1 shoemaker, 2 tanners, 2 cabinet makers, 2 house carpenters, 4 physicians, 13 mills, and 4 mines. Mining of minerals such as mica would be one of the first developments that helped propel Yancey County out of the post-war depression. Mica was mined by natives long before DeSoto. The Indians used the mineral in ceremonial pieces, grave decorations, and as mirrors. Sheet mica was used as windows in stoves and lamps for glazing, while ground mica was an insulating material in electrical machinery. By 1884, 11 years after Ray exhibited in the World's Fair, there were 10 mica mines in Yancey County. Another important development during this time period was the extension of the Western North Carolina Railroad into Buncombe County, just south of Yancey County. The railroad was chartered in 1855 and by the start of the Civil War had proceeded as far as 6 miles east of Morganton. Used today on the Museum of Yancey County History, exhibits are constantly being redesigned to reflect the new research and new interpretations. While the main focus of the museum is from 1840 to 1900, the McElroy House more period, there are exhibits on everything from prehistoric period of time to the present day. The Yancey County History Association continues to work to preserve the museum and to record Yancey County's history.